Hi there, Stéphane here on the French Cooking Academy. This week we're doing a side dish and we're unearthing an old way of preparing vegetable that used to be famous in the 80s, in the time of the salad bars. You know, you had all these little salads. And one of the dishes that used to be famous, it's called in France the champignon à la grecque, the Greek style mushrooms. Now, you may have heard this before, but the name Greek style does not imply that it is from Greece. It is simply because it is served cold. What's great about this? First off, it's easy to make, it tastes good, and you can use the same technique with mushrooms, with artichokes, with cauliflower, and courgette. Perfect for the warmer days, or if you're looking for something a bit special, because it's going to be cooked in wine, olive oil, aromatics, plenty of things, and actually it is really good. So let's discover it together. Look at this, all these flavors that's gonna go into this side dish. So, like I said, nothing to do with Greece at all. The reason it's called the champignon à la grecque or the Greek style, it is because it is cooked and with all this produce from the sunny parts. We've got the white wine, we've got the olive oil, we've got the lemon, you've got the aromatics. And once it's cooked, it's gonna be left to macerate on the side and it is served cold or at room temperature. That makes it perfect for the warmer days, perfect for grilled meat on the side, for a piece of fish, or if you're a vegetarian, you can almost have this as a main on some grilled bread or anything like this. So it's a really, really versatile little side dish. Now, as always, you will find all the necessary ingredients listed in the video description. And now let me show you the mise en place we need. Now, making that dish is super simple. So the way to prepare things, first, you're gonna buy button mushrooms that are as white as you can get, and as small as you can get. I could not get something that is too small, so I'm going to show you what you can do. First off, of course, we're going to remove the untidy bits. You can keep this for a stock or whatever. Okay. And we're going to then quarter the mushrooms if they are too big. That's it. Okay. If you have a mushroom that is not very good looking, I don't have one, you can actually peel mushrooms, even button mushrooms, so you can actually get the skin off like this, and you see under, you're gonna reveal a very white part of the mushroom that you can see here. So I don't know if you can see the difference, but this is the nice and clean, and that may be a bit dirty. So if you have brown mushroom, old mushrooms, you can peel them, but it is advised to use kind of fresh mushroom that are really, really white, okay? Now you may wonder, why on earth do I have this little piece of cloth here? This is a muslin cloth, also called the cheesecloth. And we're going to use this to make a little bag that's going to diffuse the flavor, a little diffuser of flavor. So it's very, very simple. You're going to cut a little piece of tissue like this. And what we're going to do, we're going to put some aromatics in here. So this is a garlic. I'm going to put some thyme, of course not too much. A fragment of bay leaf. And these are coriander seeds that we're going to put on here. And some peppercorn. These are black peppercorn. Okay? And all what's going to happen on here, we're going to tie up that little bag with a string. So I'm not the best at making these things, but you get the idea. Like a bouquet garni, we're going to twist the whole thing, and we're going to have a little diffuser that we're going to use for the mushrooms. Very simple. So if we look at this, the rest of the mise en place is extremely simple. The half lemon has been transformed into a lemon juice. I've of course measured the white wine and the olive oil. I've got my quarter mushroom. We've got the diffuser bag. And for the rest, it is simply the onions that have been thinly diced. And now we're ready to make the recipe. You see, extremely straightforward. And here we are. So as always, I've got all of the ingredients I need at the ready. And remember, this is a typical thing when you cook, try to be clean and organized. And that's the way of the chefs, really. So we're going to take the pan. You can take any kind of saucepan if you want. I'm using a saucier pan here. It's a bit of a fancy one because that's my favorite. But all what we're going to do here, we're going to start to gently cook the onions without coloration in a little bit of olive oil. So I'm going to wait for this to come to the temperature and then put the onions in. So that's it. I'm going to put my onions, immediately reduce the heat here, and we're going to gently, without coloration, leave this to cook in here for just a few minutes. I repeat, no coloration. If it feels too hot, you reduce the heat. This is not a dish that has kind of brown onions at all. You need to keep that whiteness. Perfect. So after these few minutes, what we're going to do after that is to put all of the mushroom in, and we're going to gently toss them around and mix them into the onions. So stir it very, you can even put your heat to very, very low to make sure and there's no browning that occurs. Once everything has been tossed in, we're going to add all of the acidic produce. So I've got the lemon juice. The lemon juice is going to ensure that the color stays fine. I'll put my heat back on medium here. We're going to put the wine. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of salt. The salt is going in. So 1 or 2 pinch. Don't overdo the salt. Always you can adjust the seasoning later on after at the end and mix well. Now once you're here, what's going to happen when it warms up is the water contained in the mushrooms is going to come out. If you were to use other mushrooms, you may have to add a little bit of water. That's the first thing. The second thing is this. The tomato paste, I like to put some. Some people don't do it. Some people put, this is a tablespoon worth, okay? Some people put way more, but I like to keep it reasonable. We can add more afterwards, okay? But I think it really kind of helps to have something, that is a bit colored, because sometimes mushrooms, if your mushrooms are not really great looking, you can end up with something that is not so super appetizing, okay? So I've got my thing in here. The last bit we're going to put here, of course, the diffuser. So the diffuser, we're going to try to bury it under the mushrooms. Okay, so once you've managed to bury the bag under the mushrooms, you're going to make sure you've just got a slight boil like this, and we're going to leave this to cook for 15 minutes. What needs to happen during that time is for the flavor of the mushroom to diffuse in the sauce, and the taste of all of the coriander, the pepper, the garlic, the thyme, and the bay leaf also to diffuse in here. And that's going to give really the taste to the sauce and the mushroom. Regarding the sauce here, the reason we're cooking this for a long time because we're going to reduce the sauce until it becomes some kind of syrup that is going to glaze the mushrooms. And this is how we want them. We don't want them full of sauce. We just want just a slight syrupy kind of concentrated sauce with mushroomy taste, tomatoes, and intonations of the bay leaf, the thyme, the garlic, etc., etc. So 15 minutes, slow cooking like this. The time is up. I've turned my heat off, and this is the result. You see the juice is kind of gone. And now we're going to be able to reserve the mushrooms and leave them to cool down totally. Now, if you're not too much of a fan of acidic product, because this is meant to be a little bit acidic for the wine and the lemon juice, you can add a little pinch of sugar to tone things down. And let me show you what needs to happen for the last step of the recipe. All right, so the champignon à la grecque, the Greek style mushrooms are ready. This is what you should have. You see it's totally reduced. And what do we mean by syrup? It is dry, it is coating the mushroom, and it becomes a little bit shiny. Now the secret of this, for me, what really makes that dish shine is the resting time. A lot of people are going to say, you leave it to rest like this, as soon as it's kind of cold, you can serve it. Yes, you can, but you're not going to have the full effect flavors of the mushrooms. For me, what I like to do is this. First off, I'm adding a good drizzle of olive oil to transform this, it's a bit like a dressing, okay? And I'm going to take this out of the pan. I'm going to take the aromatic bags out, and I'm going to put this in a porcelain dish in the fridge overnight with a lid on, and only the next day I'm going to be eating this. So this is what I'm going to do now, and we're going to taste this together on the next day when the mushroom will really have time to infuse, and see how we can serve this. And here we are, the next day. I've taken my mushrooms out of the fridge. I've left them really at room temperature for a good 30 to 40 minutes. And I've decided to serve them in honor of the vegetarian people out there. Because I know that sometimes vegetarian food is not always super exciting. So if you were a vegetarian, you want to have a little brunch, a little something, a grazing plate, where you could eat this like that. And a lot of people like to eat these mushrooms with toasty bread. So as you can see overnight, the reddish color has kind of toned down a little bit, and I can't resist. I'm just gonna first try, and then I'll tell you, I'll first try a piece of bread. Both of them, and a bit of that sauce. I think I forgot how good that was. Wow. Come here, mushroom. Oh, it's just tangy, a little bit. You got this big mushroomy, moist mushrooms when you go and mix it with the bread. Beautiful, and that olive oil I added, it makes a kind of a little dressing, tomatoey with the onions. Wow, brilliant. Wow, it really does taste great. A blast from the past. So to finish the video, what can you do to go further? Always adjust the seasoning at the end with a bit of salt and pepper if you want, or a little bit of sugar if you don't like the acidic. If you like the acidic taste, what I do after the olive oil, I'm taking a lemon like this and I'm going to drizzle some fresh lemon juice to add a bit of a tang. How can you serve this? Just like this as a side, as a grazing plate with bread, but also alongside fish or grilled meats. It is very versatile, and that way of cooking can be made with mushrooms, with artichoke hearts, with cauliflower and courgette. So you could have an array of vegetables served that way. And I think it is a great option. If you never tried these, I really urge you to give this recipe a go because it's absolutely brilliant. That completes the video for the week as always. Any question, use the comment section. And for the pictures, thank you to everybody to have posted their recipe making on Instagram. We are posting more and more of your creations, so if you haven't done so, please make something and tag us, #French Cook Academy, because you might be featured on the feed and we love to see what you're making. For the rest, you can follow us on Patreon, of course, or you can join our online culinary school. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Very easy to make. Next week, we're gonna do another easy recipe, but this time something sweet. See you then. Bye-bye.